Well, folks, if we look a little bit tired, you can understand why, because we were up very late last night hanging out with a bunch of hooligans. Fellow commentators. I didn't call them, but what? Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that? I'm so sorry. Anyway, no, they're all good guys, every last one of them. And we ought to know. We just sent the checks out, we just sent the checks out in the mail. Anyway, my name is Brian Trippett. I'm the Front Porch Conservative. This is my good buddy Reuben Christopher Haynes. We're doing a wrap-up live stream on the New Hampshire primary. So if you are on YouTube, on Rumble, on Twitter, so thank you for sending out the messages, giving the word to everybody. We genuinely appreciate it. And Reuben, say hello.
Hello.
All right. Hello, Reuben. All right.
I hear myself in the background there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. I thought I got rid of the echo cancellation. Hang on just a second.
Following the great boomers of all generations.
No, it says that the echo cancellation's off.
Okay.
Or on, I should say. Let me try
problem.
something real quick. Okay, how's that?
Hello, testing.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine now.
Okay, there's no echo?
Nope.
Okay, cool. All right, very good. All right, well, let's get down to business. So thank you for everybody being out there with us today. We genuinely appreciate it. And, hello, you lovely lady. Hello, you lovely ladies. We genuinely love you being here. Thank you so very much. We appreciate it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, so much happened last night as part of the New Hampshire primary. We're going to get into all those discussions here in just a second. And I've got to take you guys back to something that happened last night during the stream, and I didn't realize what was going on. And Reuben, I'm pretty sure none of us realized what was happening until after the fact. So, and by the way, this is a very humbling moment for me as a content creator. When I'm referencing one of my own previous live streams in a brand new live stream, you know you've been doing some work for a while. So that sets up what we're about to watch next. This is from last night, shortly after I had just gotten done with all the introductions. And folks, I want you to listen, but more importantly, pay attention to the numbers on the screen, and then I'll explain why I'm going over this. Here we go. Gentlemen, the reason that I hurried through those introductions as opposed to going through them with the normal amount of theatrical hamminess that I am reputed to have is that we've already got news coming out of New Hampshire, because take a look at this, gentlemen. They've already called New Hampshire as soon as I can get this thing. I'm not kidding. We literally just came on the air 2 minutes ago.
Perfect.
And they have called New Hampshire. But
we're done. Good night.
Did I tell you?
Good night. You know what, audience? We're out of here. Decision Desk has called New Hampshire. Now, let me kind of back up and explain to the audience what exactly is going on here. And I take full responsibility of this one as the host. I had forgotten about one quirky feature of New Hampshire, and it's this. The smaller townships and hamlets, their polls will close at 7 p.m. Eastern. They will start rolling in numbers. The major population cities, counties, etc., those polls don't close until 8. Okay. So you'll notice on the screen the numbers. Now, it's very small amount of vote. To look at it, you would think, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, but away we go. We get it. What happened was, unbeknownst to myself, Reuben, and anybody else, is that about 15 minutes after we pointed all this out about the fact that New Hampshire had been called for Trump, and there was a handful of votes that had just already trickled in, Nikki Haley went straight to the microphone. And what she did was remarkably sneaky. So let's set this up. That explains this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've all heard the chatter among the political class. They're falling all over themselves, saying this race is over.
It's not.
Well, I have news for all of them. New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation.
Folks, are you beginning to see what's happening here? She set up a narrative. And lest you think that that we're crazy on this point, I'll show you one more thing. What ran this morning on the op-ed page of the Wall Street Journal was this. Nikki Haley has earned the chance to fight on after New Hampshire. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't go so far as to say it's a psyop, but it's quite obvious what's being done here. Nikki did the very smart thing. She went to the microphone fast, early, and said, hey, moving on, doing great. And certain parts of the media are just picking right up on that. Reuben, you want to take it from there?
Well, I said this yesterday, that the mainstream media and the narrative would be that Haley's still in it. And the fact that all of these reporters are saying this. And again, it's going to be plastered on video, on media, on Twitter, on the social media platforms. It's all going to say that she got 40%. She got this. She got that. It's all going to be that's the narrative. She's still in it. She came in second. She came in second. And you have people, they were on MSNBC, the bellwether of truth and, and reality. I know, like, they were basically saying, I know. They were saying that they were basically saying how Trump looks old, Trump looks tired. They're always saying that same thing, because they're basically using our argument Biden's too old and decrepit. They're saying, no, it's Trump is decrepit. Biden is spry like a spring child. And it's insane.
Yeah,
the video says otherwise.
Maybe.
But again, they don't show you all of the gaffes, all of the fumbles, all the things that Biden does. They censor what Trump says, or they take it out of context and just say, Trump said this, and this is what he said. And they play the clip. But they don't play any full context, and they don't play the context of anything that Biden has said or even done. And that's it. I am done with this. It's just insane. And I just pray for America and what's going on here. And it's just, the narrative is just insane. And again, I said it yesterday, and it's terrible.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me, the lengths that some people will go to. There's an old expression that I don't know if it's necessarily confined to the South, but it's true, and I apologize because it's slightly vulgar. It says, don't piss down my leg and try and convince me it's raining. That's what the media is trying to do. They're trying to piss down my leg and convince me that it's actually I'm being rained on as opposed to being pissed on. Well, there are people out there, far, far smarter than most folks in the mainstream media, and they are not necessarily commentators, strictly content creators. The great Jack Posobiec picked up immediately on what was happening. And folks, this is his appearance on the Charlie Kirk Show. Take a listen to this.
Nikki Haley, of course, she's taking the opportunity. And look at the timing of this, Charlie. Look at the timing of this, going back directly to what Blake just told us. She timed this so that specifically she would make that statement when the race was as tight as possible. She knows that Hanover vote was when this margin would be its closest. And right at the same time, you have to understand this in terms of the media narrative and the way these things work. I know that these numbers are going to go up at the end of the night. We know this margin is going to expand. But now the new narrative has set in, the narrative that we've been telling you. We originally said it would be for DeSantis. Okay, we did originally say that, but he dropped out. Now the narrative is Haley's. The media is going to run out there with this, and they're going to say, oh, Haley says she's in. She's going to be fighting. She's going to fight all the way to Milwaukee. Just you wait.
And sure enough, that is exactly what's happening. And it boggles the mind that, yeah. So, yeah, hang on. I want to put this up here real quick because I want to, after last night's epic win, Rich, chaos and money is gonna, oh yeah, oh absolutely, the establishment, however you want to define that, does not want Trump. The Republican establishment, the Democrat establishment, the the military industrial complex establishment, all of that combined together, they will do everything in their power to stop Trump from coming back in. That's how scared they are of this guy. You know, I just go ahead.
No. Again, this is a conspiracy theory, of course. Or I just made it up. Well, not really made it up. I just said it. What they're trying to do is the Biden administration, the mainstream narrative. They are trying to get somebody to do something that's nefarious, evil, to strike out. It's every time there is a mass event. Black Swan, not Black Swan, but, mass shooter, mass whatever, like that.
Right.
There's the first thing they say is white Trump supporter, or they say that's what we have to get rid of MAGA because they're doing this. And then we find out the letter. We find out the letter that the person who shut up the school in Nashville, trans activist, but we can't show the manifesto because it'll spread hate. Well, what is it? What is it? What is the idea? And the thing is that there's a high likelihood that all of these January 6th protest people, the patriots that are being locked up, what if Biden releases them all? Says, we have to let them go. But they have so much animosity that they're going to try and coerce somebody to do something. It's there. The whole Patriot Front, those guys with masks on, also, I know the feds wearing the masks. That's what they want. We are hoping and praying for something to go wrong, and the FBI is doing their due diligence. We're doing the bidding of Biden to try and get someone entrapment to do something, because that's the only way they can win. Or a mass casualty event, Black Swan event occurs, like 9/11 happens on American soil, and they basically say Russia or this and that, and they bring in the Russian collusion hoax again. It's just insane. They're just going to do this again because they want this to happen. Because again, Biden can't win on policy.
No. And speaking of that, and I did not have this pulled up, but I want to show everybody something. This just came out today, and I had heard about it, hadn't seen it, and then finally got a chance to look at it. I want to pop this up on screen real fast. Take a look at that top poll number up there. This just came out today from the Messenger Harris X in a straight head-to-head against Trump Biden. And this may be the biggest, with the exception of Rasmussen, laying outside Rasmussen's poll they did about 2 months ago. This is the biggest margin that I have seen so far, head-to-head, Trump against Biden. It's like a 7-point lead for Trump. And supposedly, when the multi-candidate ballot poll of theirs gets out there, it gets even worse. So yeah, the desperation that's starting to set in for some of these people to get Trump defeated before they ever gets to the election, it doesn't matter if it's by ballot or by law book at this point. It's absolutely insane what's going on out there. A few other things as far as, so that's more or less the narrative of what's trying to be spun. And Gypsy referenced Rich Barris, the People's Pundit, who, by the way, don't get me wrong, we're glad to have every person who was with us last night. And if they're not new to our channel, cool. I mean, cool if they're new to our channel. If they're not new to our channel, that's cool too. Let me tell you something. I didn't get a chance to watch it because he was running simultaneous to us. But Rich Barris was doing some absolutely amazing election coverage last night. And if for whatever reason you don't want to watch us, and why you wouldn't, I don't understand, because we're all just so pretty looking. But if you don't want to watch us, then I tell you what, Rich Barris is the place to go on election night. He is absolutely fantastic. And, much like Gypsy, I've been trying to, glean as much information from today as I can. And Rich Barris is one of my go-to sources. And we'll get to some of what he has to say here in a minute. But I want to play you from Mornings with Maria. He had two different pollsters on, Mark Penn, who actually does the Harris X poll. He's the guy who's in charge of it, and Robert Cahaley from Trafalgar Group, talking about what happened in Hampshire last night. But I want you to listen to the way that Robert Cahaley describes the results of what happened last night. There's the narrative that's being spun, and then there's reality. And Cahaley's going to start bringing this back into reality. So, folks, take a listen to this.
In your analysis, Robert, kick us off. Your reaction to last night's win. Well, I think, the celebration that Haley seemed to be having just didn't kind of seem like it didn't make sense, almost like in Iowa when she came in third and actually like she came in second. She was smart to get out there early before it widened, but it's essentially, she's celebrating kicking a field goal on the 20-yard line in the first quarter. That's not the way you beat your toughest opponent. It only gets worse from here.
Mark Penn
and he's absolutely right. We'll get to that a little bit later, but I love that analogy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first quarter. It's maybe the first 2 minutes. You march down to the other team's 20-yard line, and instead of getting a touchdown, you kick a field goal. You get 3 points instead of 7. But oh my God, it's like you just won the Super Bowl. It's crazy. I mean, what do you think?
Exactly. But again, it's a smart move that she did that, and she's going to continue to do that. She's going to continue to be the media darling. That's the whole idea. And the thing is that, think about it. She goes live, and then all of the media will shift and just go to her and tout it.
Oh yeah.
And then it's going to inflate her ego. And of course, you have some James DeWitts who have already talked to her, because again, she got the Boeing contract, that she got, her family got the defense contract, and he's still people saying, yes, keep on going, you're doing it, you're gonna win, we're all behind you. Look at that. You have all of the interviewing, and you saw what she did. That MSN interview with those two idiots, two twinks, whatever. See you next Tuesdays, and then
We'll get to that. Go ahead.
I know it's crazy, but that's what I'm saying. It's just they're trying to prop her up and make her feel so good. And they did the same thing back, I believe it was 2006, or with Saturday Night Live did it with McCain, and they pouted up. He's a good guy. He's one of us. He's better than
He's a maverick.
Anyway.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. But again, it's all posturing. It's all part of the narrative. All of the it's just complete garbage.
Yeah. Now remember the headline from the editorial from the Wall Street Journal: Nikki Haley has earned the right to fight on past New Hampshire. Well, let me show you a headline that more accurately states what really happened last night. Nikki Haley spent $31 million in losing New Hampshire bid. I mean, say what you want to about the gang over at Breitbart, but I'll give them this. Talk about real look at reality. That's probably the best way I can say it on the fly. I mean, this is accurately what happened. She spent $31 million in New Hampshire to lose to Donald Trump by 11 points. And by comparison, let me find the number in here real fast. Yeah, here it is. Trump spent $15.8 million, half of the money that Nikki Haley did, and did 11 points better than she did in New Hampshire. And I tell you what, and Rich Barris was pointing this out earlier, and the numbers don't lie. The numbers that Donald Trump put up last night were historic. Absolutely historic. We'll break some of that down here in just a minute. But I mean, everybody's worried about, securing the election. Everybody's worried about making sure there's not voter fraud. Everybody's worried about making sure there's not, hanky-panky with mail-in ballots. The point's been made by, us, Rich, other people, Charlie Kirk. Doesn't matter who it is. The money that is being spent in this effort to try to defeat Trump, you could spend a fraction of it and get better results for what could happen in November. And they're just burning through cash. Why? Because they don't like Donald Trump. Don't like his policies. They don't like him. They don't like the people he represents. And on it goes. It's mind-boggling to me. Really, it is. Go ahead.
Yep. No, it is. I've been thinking about it, everything that's been going on. It's just the fact that I was looking at some of the news reports today. And again, they are basically going to, Haley is their candidate. Here's the thing I was going to say. It's kind of hilarious.
Okay.
It was Kayleigh McEnany was alluding to the following. Look at this, because again, Trump can't win because he got the independent vote. It's a primary, moron. It's a primary. And 70% of those people who weren't declared Republicans, what's what a primary election is. You are a Republican and you go to the polls as a Republican and you vote for your candidate. I have never voted in a primary because I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat, even though everyone thinks I am a Republican. No, I'm not. I never have. And the fact that in New Hampshire they can it's open primary. But they're using that excuse saying, "Oh yeah, Trump's gonna switch everybody over from Republican to Democrat or Democrat. They're gonna vote against Trump. He's not electable." It's insane. And for that to say it, I don't know, just very, very odd. Because again, the fix is in, big money talks, and again, that money corruption is insane. I'm sick and tired of it.
Yeah. So if you're just joining us, my name is Brian Trippett. I'm the Front Porch Conservative. This is my friend Reuben Christopher Haynes. We both are content creators on YouTube. We like to follow politics. We've been covering some things going on in 2024. So as far as the numbers from last night, let's get into this. And this to me is absolutely, I mean, there are going to be Republican pundits like Kayleigh McEnany and Britt Hume from Fox News and others out there are going to poo-poo this victory by Trump, say, oh, well, the poll said he's going to win by 18 to 22. He only won by 11. Okay, first of all, that's still a double-digit win. But look at the raw number.
Yeah.
Take a look at this, folks. This ought to blow your mind. Oops. There we go. Oh, there we go. Now, there were total 319,000 votes in the Republican primary. Now, as Reuben alluded to, keep in mind, you can be an independent or an undeclared in New Hampshire and vote in a Republican primary. So this isn't pure registered Republican Party vote. That's just grand total. But of that 319,000, Donald Trump got all rounded up 55% of the vote. Okay. He beat Nikki Haley by 12 points with 97% of it in. But it's the raw number I want you to look at. 174,000 votes. Ladies and gentlemen, not only did Donald Trump beat his record from 2016 when he was running as a challenger, not only did he beat his number in 2020 when he was running as an incumbent, that number is about almost 24,000 votes better than what Bernie Sanders got in 2016, and Bernie holds the all-time record. Let me say that again. Bernie, as a matter of fact, I'll put it up here on the screen. Bernie got 152,000 votes in 2016 against Hillary Clinton. That was until last night the all-time record.
Right.
Okay. Go. Oh, crap. I just took it off of here real fast. But go back to Decision Desk.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm pulling that up, you go back to Decision Desk and take a look at what he did.
Yeah, I want to see the number.
Yeah. Take a look at this again. Let me put it back up here. There we go. 174,000 votes. That's what? Just on rough math. 174. That's like 22,000 votes more than Bernie Sanders got. That's that's incredible.
So then of the 134,474 votes that she got, is 70% were Democrats that crossed over. 94,000.
Hang on. You can't say it's 70% Democrat. It's independents and Democrats.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
But let's just say that. Let's say 10% of the votes she got were Democrats that crossed over. Okay.
Right.
That's what? 14,000 votes.
Right.
And again, I could be completely wrong on that number. Let's just say it's 10% Democrats. Okay. Still, I mean, he kicked her butt. It would have been even bigger butt kicking. There's just no other way getting around it.
Right.
I mean, I was listening to a little bit to, again, as I said, I was trying to grab as much info as I could. So I tried to catch as much of Rich Barris's live stream today. And again, best numbers cruncher on the internet, best pollster. Follow his work. The guy's amazing. Trump apparently broke about 3 or 4 different records last night from what he's saying. The other one is percentage of participation in the primary. If you take Trump's number, you're talking 12% of the whole population of New Hampshire voted for Trump. The previous record was Bernie back in 2016 with 11.3. So, this whole thing about, Trump's a weak candidate, Trump's this, Trump's that. I don't know. Well, I know why it's being said, but it just rings hollow. It's just not true.
Right.
You start running the numbers and you start looking at it historically, and there ain't no way in the world that last night was anything other than an absolute, pillar to post butt kicking on the part of Donald Trump. Reuben.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's insane what the media is doing, and it just makes no sense. It just boggles the mind. But again, it doesn't boggle the mind. I know why they're doing it, but it's just insane. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah. Well, while we were covering the live stream last night, and we'd asked folks to send us various clips, and by the way, thank you for everybody who did. I know Leah sent in a few. I know others did. But yeah, we asked the audience to send in clips from the media, be it CNN or MSNBC or CBS or ABC or whoever it was that was commenting on it, that we, the panel, could bounce off of. And believe me, given as rubbery as our brains can be, we bounce a lot. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But Reuben alluded to something, 70%. I want to show you a clip, and we ran this last night, from CNN, Chris Cizilla, I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly, who is their numbers cruncher during election night. I want you to look at this because the contrast between who voted for Trump and who voted for Haley is so stark, it's almost frightening. So, folks, let me get this pulled up and take a listen to this.
Take a look at the numbers. Among Trump voters, 70% of them, according to our exit polls, are registered Republican.
Okay, now that would make sense. It's the rest of what you hear from here is a little bit scary.
Donald Trump, his support, 27% of his voters are registered undeclared or independents.
Now, again, that's not so bad either.
3% were unregistered before today. Look at how that compares with Nikki Haley.
I'm going to stop that right there and let that sink in for a second. Now, keep in mind, this information is coming from CNN's exit polling. And I mean, people who follow this stuff, who are far better at it than I am, have very severe criticisms of exit polling right now, especially before the actual results come in. But let's just assume for a moment these guys are totally accurate. All right, let's assume the exit polling is even right. 70% of Nikki Haley's vote were registered undeclared. And now, for the sake of fairness, they could be legitimate political independents. On the other hand, let's be honest about it. How much of that undeclared were Democrats who just decided to wake up that morning and screw around with the Republican primary vote? Okay, so that said, it's about 15 more seconds of this, and then we'll get into the commentary.
It's a complete reversal. It's an alternate universe. Among Haley voters, 70% are registered undeclared. Only 27% are registered Republicans.
Your thoughts, Reuben?
And that goes to what I was saying. If you look at that number, the registered Republican vote at 27, that would have been her actual number. She would have gotten 27% of the vote. If it was legit close primary, it would have been legitimate, in my opinion.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I was again listening to a little bit of Barris today. He'd made the statement, all things being equal, she might have got in a normal participation of Republicans, independents, and normal percentage of Democrats, she might have got 35, 38% of the vote top end. Okay. But that's it. That's as high as her ceiling went. Go back to the number that is out there right now. That would have shaved about 5 percentage points off of what she's going to wind up with. Okay. Now, keep in mind that number of 5 percentage points, because I'm going to show you something else here in just a second. Let me find this real fast. And, oh, good. Here it is. I want to play this clip. This fellow is Steve Kornacki. Steve Kornacki is the numbers cruncher over at NBC News. He's Chris Ciezilla's counterpart, or maybe better to say, Rich Barris's counterpart, however you want to look at it. But he did an analysis last night, and I've got to play this because, 5% that probably would have been shaved off of her total if Democrat participation in this primary would have been normal. In other words, they hadn't been voting in a Republican primary. I want everybody to listen to what Steve Kornacki's got to say. Check this out.
It all adds up to Trump winning this thing by double digits. And I think if we just go to the exit poll here, I think it really puts it in stark relief. Again, this was an electorate. You are not going to find another state like this. District of Columbia is the only thing I can even think of where the electorate is going to resemble something like this. 50-50, essentially, Republican and non-Republican. And look at, among Republicans, 25% for Nikki Haley. You're not winning primaries if you're getting 25% of the Republican vote. You're not going to come close to the Republican nomination if you're getting 25% of the Republican vote. Where Haley was able to do better and keep this thing, to the low double digits, independent voters made up more than 40% of the electorate. She did win them by 22 points. That's a big margin. That's a good margin for her. But put this in some context. That is not by far the best margin we've seen among independents in the New Hampshire Republican primary. The biggest margin was 42 points. This is 22. The biggest margin was 42. That was John McCain in 2000. And John McCain then went to South Carolina, as this race will now go to South Carolina. And in South Carolina, George W. Bush was able to say, hey, John McCain is winning this thing or is competitive on the backs of non-Republicans. And he was able to turn that Republican electorate in South Carolina heavily toward him, toward Bush. Trump certainly saw it last night. Among all of the things he said, he seemed to be setting up a very similar dynamic. And he's got a stronger argument to the core Republican base than Bush or really any other Republican I think have had, because this is a 73-point, this is more than a 70-point swing from Trump winning by 49 among Republicans to Nikki Haley winning by 22 among independents. That's a 71-point swing. That is by far the biggest swing between winners of those two groups that we've ever seen in a New Hampshire Republican primary. And so simply, if you just look ahead at what's coming on this calendar, I can pull it up on the screen right here.
Let's fast forward just a little bit because I'm trying to find one particular thing going back to last night. And then I may have the wrong clip, and if I do, I apologize. Yeah, it looks like I do. Okay, let me do this. Kornacki pointed out something last night that I think is most certainly worth commenting on. Under normal circumstances, Democrat participation in a Republican primary, about 3%. Last night, according to NBC's exit polling, it was 8%. There's your 5%. There's your 5% that comes off of Nikki Haley's total. And it just, we were talking about this last night, Christian Watson, Cam from Flagrant Triggers, Brent from the Dangerous Work podcast, Chad Manley, the author, and all of us to a man are like, nope, I don't want an open primary. And this is why you don't do it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but there's one big reason above all else. You don't want the other party coming into your primary and mucking around with it. And that's exactly what the Democrats have now done. And Reuben, I think you said it. I think you said it as well as anybody. The longer she stays in this, the more they're going to keep on trying to do that.
Yeah. Exactly. But again, South Carolina, there is Nevada that's happening, but that's going to be in the caucus. He already won, but they're not going to talk about it. So again, the last stand is South Carolina for Haley, and you had Tim Scott up there yesterday. What?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll finish my.
And you had Tim Scott up there. So I want to know what the margin is going to be for her loss in South Carolina. Remember, what it's basically. How would you say it? The correct thing we have to be saying is, what is her margin of loss going to be leading up to the convention? It's not. She's not going to win any state. There is no way in hell she's going to win a state. What is her margin of loss going to be? And Babylon B yesterday said that, basically, Nikki Haley declares winning by negative 12 points. Kind of going.
I love the boys over at the B. Well, here's my question. And does she even make it to the South Carolina primary? I mean, here's what I'm getting at. Doesn't matter if it's Nikki Haley. Doesn't matter if it's Joe Manchin of West Virginia. Doesn't matter if it's whoever. Do you really want to have the ignominy of letting it be known for all of time that you ran for president and you couldn't carry your home state?
True.
I mean, Kamala Harris might be the dumbest fence post, in the whole pile of wood, but give her this. She had the good sense to get out before the California primary in 2020. She dumped out of that race. She left before, she left before any votes were counted. She withdrew. She didn't want to be on the ballot and known as the person that lost her own state.
When is the primary? Next Tuesday?
Hang on, let me look at my calendar real fast. The Nevada caucus is February. Here it is.
Oh, gee, February. Geez.
Yeah, it's February the 8th, if I'm not mistaken. And then the South Carolina primary is February 24th.
Oh my gosh, got a long way to go.
Yeah, that's just it. And the pressure is going to mount on Haley because you already got, and I didn't pull the clip for it. You've got Ronna Daniel right now out there. South Carolina is February 24th. Yeah. That's almost a month.
Is there now? What about it? Is there going to be any debate going on?
Well, that's just it. It's down to her and Trump.
Yeah,
Trump hasn't participated in a single Republican debate up to this point. Why would he do it now? Could he do it? Yeah, he could do it, but there's no sense in him doing it. He has her cornered.
Okay.
In one sense, all that he's got to do is just wait for the pressure valve to get turned up on her until she finally cries uncle and says, "That's it, I'm out." I don't think she gets to South Carolina personally.
But
Nevada maybe, but she ain't gonna get South Carolina.
So then what Trump needs to do then is do a victory speech in Nevada as soon as he possible.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, he has to pull a Haley in a way, and say that, hey, I won, thank you very much,
Yeah, now here's the weird irony of that though. Nevada's got a primary and a caucus. The primary does not award any delegates at all. She's the only declared candidate on that primary. The caucus is what awards the delegates. He's, as far as I know, the only declared candidate in the caucus.
Oh, gosh.
But the primary, as I understand, the primary in Nevada comes 2 days ahead of the caucus. So it's like, oh my gosh. I don't even know that Trump needs to be the one out there saying she needs to drop out.
No.
It needs to be everybody else. Now, that's just my theory.
Yeah, he needs to be the one that declare the victory, basically. Because he alluded to it yesterday. He basically said she's going to South Carolina. Nevada's next, not South Carolina. She got that wrong.
Yeah,
and we're going to win that one. So then he's got to basically say we won it already. He's got to declare his wins too. Because she's coming out as she won. She did this in Iowa. She says a 2-person race and she got third, and that was a narrative, and that was her clip. And then you had her doing what she did last night. You had DeSantis, what he did before, but he's long gone. He was quoting Budweiser or Bud Light or whatever the yeah. But the whole thing is, again, it's all about those clips now. And she's producing a whole slew of quotable clips that can put her in that corner that you say. But again, a honest media would do this, but a dishonest media is going to ignore those things, like they ignored what Biden says. So a whole month can go by. I don't know what incentive do you really see that you think she may drop out, but what incentive do you see for that?
Where's she going to go? I mean, seriously, where? Okay, and I will address this. I am Gypsy. I'm not trying to ignore who's working on her behalf. I agree with you. There are probably Democrats and Democrat donors out there that are working on her behalf, and yeah, they might prop her up for a while, but how much?
Well, didn't I just say
how much losing has to happen before she gets out? I mean, and if I'm wrong, I'll come out here and say it. I'll be the first one.
But I say, again, Gypsy, I said that the mainstream media, CBS, NBC, ABC, I said it last night that they are going to prop her up as a win because she's going after Trump and and Trump's unelectable. They're saying that now. Those are the two things I said yesterday and I'm saying right now. So if you want specific people, I don't know specific people. The James DeWitts, the Arizona people, that those type of people are doing it. And again, and that's why it has to be exposed. The fact her Boeing contract, the fact that she has the military industrial complex ties. She's a warmonger. She's talking about this, but that's the whole idea. That is where it goes to my whole solution, or not my not solution, my whole scenario of destruction or bad path, where if a war what's already hard to hear, but something horrible were to happen, she can tout out that yes, we have to fight, we have to do this, we have to do that, because again, she thinks we're not going to be fooled again. We're not going to be fooled again at all. I am, again, when the whole weapons of mass destruction thing came out, I believed what Colin Powell said. I believe what they said because they actually were saying these things. They brought the evidence, which all manufactured, and there's again everything's manufactured now. Everything's manufactured, so I don't trust anything that they're saying. So I right now, that's why I say a black swan event. Something in the military, something that's going on, because they're marching toward the beat of war. That's going to keep her in this, and they're going to do the people behind her, the big Democratic donors, Soros, all of those things are, and WEF, all this stuff. They're going to go after. They want her there, and they're just stroking her, making sure that she feels good. But again, it's all for naught. She has to come down now, take her down a peg, and it's all about ground game. So Trump's ground game should be go to South Carolina, have Tim Scott there, have Vivek there, and it's all about grassroots. Get the people out. Get the people out. And it's a close primary too, right?
Well, hang on, I'll get to that in a second. And to go to Gypsy's point, she sent me this on Twitter, and I'm going to put it up here just to give you guys. And she's right. There are people actively out there working on her behalf. Take a look at this. This is called Uniting to Defend Democracy. Vote in your state's Republican primary caucus or stop Trump. Check this out. You go a little bit further down in there. Now keep in mind, it sounds to me, unless I'm misreading this, vote in your state's Republican primary or caucus to stop Trump. They're trying to get people registered in various states for the express purpose of, messing around with it. And there's a lot of people out there absolutely working on her behalf. I mean, I've got my theory on what she does before South Carolina. Like I said, I could be dead wrong, and if I am, I'll come here and say it. I will.
Step 2, if necessary, change your party affiliation. God, it's insane.
Yeah, and if necessary, change your party's affiliation. The Democrats are going to do everything they can. I mean, if Trump loses in November, it's going to be like death of 1,000 cuts. There's going to be reasons why. And it's going to be stuff like that. Oh, here's a good, by the way, I did not have this clip pulled up, but I really wish I would have. The Wildmakers and the applause. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So one last thing related to Nikki Haley's voters last night in New Hampshire, and I gotta play this. We ran this clip last night, but it's worth repeating. If you really want an idea of what kind of what kind of unregistered were supporting Nikki last night, check this one out, guys, because this will absolutely blow your mind.
Nikki Haley.
And why did you vote for Nikki Haley?
It's a vote against Trump. I think it would be better to have her against Biden in the elections than it would be Trump and her.
Do you consider yourself generally independent, Republican, or Democrat?
Democrat.
So when you undeclared, you voted for Nikki Haley. If it was Nikki Haley against Joe Biden in a general election, who are you voting for?
Joe Biden.
I don't understand the Biden voters anymore. I'm done. They're just completely inept. You cannot tell me why you're voting for him.
Because he's not Trump.
Mean tweets. No, but
he's not Trump. That's what it gets down to for these people.
But what's wrong with Trump? They can't answer a question. They can't answer it.
Well, that's when they go back to your mean tweets line.
Yeah, I know.
He uses mean tweets.
Oh, fuck off.
Did you have a job? Did you have more income? Did you have a safer border? Go down the litany of things and ask them. And
that's racist. To have a border and a job, that's racist. And again, that's the other line they use. Mean tweets, racism.
Oh, I know. Just got a comment on Governor Chris Sununu of New Hampshire, the Republican governor up there who's backing Nikki.
Oh God.
No. There's a lot of statistical data that Rich Barris has brought out since last night, but this one may be the sweetest irony of them all. Salem Township, the home of the Sununu family dynasty, went for Donald Trump 2-1. That's his own backyard. That's his own backyard.
Yeah.
Put up hang on. Last
Oh,
night,
yeah.
I have not seen. I've heard about this clip. Reuben, I tell you what, I'm gonna put you on a mission for a minute. Can you?
I'll find it.
Seen this? Can you find it? Okay,
I'll get it.
All right, cool. Yeah, you got it, Gypsy. We'll do it. You got it, dear. See, never let it be said that our show is not interactive and fun. If you guys give us something, and we'll run with it. Yeah, Trump beat Nikki Haley 2-1 in the Sununu family's township, Salem, New Hampshire. This is how thorough a butt kicking Donald Trump gave her last night. I mean,
it's in the private chat.
Oh, it's in the private chat? Okay, hang on. All right. Oh, it's from our boy Benny. Okay.
What do you mean private? I was kidding.
Ooh, my. Ooh, saucy.
Those are my chats. Just kidding.
I don't want to see your chats, okay? Never mind. That is more than I need to be finding out, okay? Just saying.
That's why I don't put my Twitter anymore on X. I'm sorry, on streams. Damn it, don't send me that.
Okay, this is about a 3-minute. Gypsy,
Charles.
Gypsy, do you have an idea about when this starts?
It's right there. It's right there. Yeah, it's
right at the very beginning.
Yeah, at the very beginning.
Okay, all right, here we go. I'm going to put this up. Apparently, this is pretty good. So, y'all check this out.
Charles, you talked about the issues here and how immigration here is at the top, but it also is an economic issue, and it crosses all boundaries. And it is a weakness for President Biden and the Democrats. Dean Phillips talks about this on the trail, and he talks about how Democrats demean MAGA voters. He talked about it with me today, saying that, it's just strange that they're talking about a group of voters like that.
Yeah, and I don't think it's narcissism. I think if it's you've lived in New York long enough, you know it's maybe a New York thing. Someone punches you, you punch him back harder. That's why I grew up in Harlem.
Not if the country's at stake, right?
He became president of the United States with that same personality. I don't think that, listen, I think it's worse with Biden calling MAGA. Biden's anger and vitriol and hatred for MAGA is far more worse than President Trump's individual battles with someone who crosses him. That is something that is really detrimental to this country, that the president of the United States despises half of the United States. President Biden, I said earlier today, about a week ago, I had a segment coming up, so I Googled Biden hates MAGA. Nothing but articles after articles after articles. He has expressed hatred for
who's writing those articles.
It doesn't matter.
And it's not.
Because the bottom line is he says it. He has vitriol for them. And so does MSNBC, and so does CNN, and so does the New York Times. They have vitriol for half of the nation. They don't look at them like fellow Americans. And it's unfortunate. They try to paint them as racist. That all the things that they do to their fellow Americans who simply want a safe home, a safe community, for the children to have prosperity. They want the same thing, but they demean them all the time. That's why I think Phillips was so intriguing, because he went to a rally to find out for himself. And guess what? Golly, these are some pretty cool people. They're just like us.
Exactly what Jamie Dimon said this week as well. And it's smart to understand. And also you see the shift that's happening, right? You look at Black voters, Hispanic voters, college women, Latinos who have moved towards Trump.
Yes.
So it's no longer that people are in these boxes based on what their gender is or what they look like. They appear to want, a safe country, and they appear to want a good economy, regardless of what label they have.
That's completely fine. And I know that the lines have shifted dramatically, but Joe Biden's responsible for a lot of that. You say that he's demeaned half the country. First of all, it's 74 million people that voted for Donald Trump. And he is explicit every time he talks about the MAGA movement to say that this is a subsection of the Republican Party, which is borne out in elections when you see people voting against Donald Trump. And this idea that
But what about the people voting for him? What about the people voting for him? He gives teleprompter speeches. I mean, you have to understand.
Yes, but he is talking about insurrectionists. No. Yes, he is.
No.
Why is he talking about January 6th? And he
says MAGA like it's a swear word, instead of a slogan.
If you get called regularly,
he's the
which
president of the
Democrats
United
do, thugs,
he's the commander in chief,
pedophiles.
Why can't he call the border a crisis while he's denigrating and castigating Americans? No, the voters are talking about that, Jessica.
But this point is about demeaning voters.
The president of the United States, the commander in chief, went to Philadelphia a year and a half ago with a Marine posted behind him.
I saw.
And gave a decidedly political speech where he insulted a large part of the country. And I've said many times on this network, and I'll say it again tonight, if people, a lot of people, spend a fraction of the time that they spend obsessing over Donald Trump, the person, learning one thing about the Trump voter, things may be very different. This is Joe Biden's version of Hillary's deplorable and irredeemable.
And here's one thing. We're going to be talking about this for many months. So we have to move on.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Wow. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. But they put it in context there. But again, the whole idea that you had, he said, but he goes after his business rivals. It's business. Yeah. It's not personal. It's business. Get stuff done.
Yeah.
That's why he's successful.
And I had heard about this. The Dean, now for those of you who maybe not familiar with who they're talking about, Dean Phillips is a congressman from Minnesota. He's two-term Democrat. He's running against Joe Biden in the Democratic primary, although you'd never know it because the mainstream media is never paying attention to him. But Dean Phillips apparently went to a Trump rally and just kind of talked to Trump voters. And he figured out something. Hey, they're like us. They want a safe country. They want to close a secure border. They don't want their towns being overrun by drugs and fentanyl. They don't want gangs roaming the streets. They want everything we want. And Dean Phillips is coming to the same conclusion that a lot of people do is, why are we denigrating these people? Why are we demonizing them? Why are we trying to turn this into some kind of continual, perpetual battle? And you know what? I'm sure everybody in here has heard the great, phrase from FDR, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. you know, to borrow a line from a former congressman, the great Dick Armey of Texas, talking about modern day Democrats, we have nothing to offer but fear itself. And that's Biden. I mean, it's like MAGA Republicans, those evil MAGA Republicans. I'm like,
but they did they're following the 2012 plan with Romney. Romney's bad. Romney's this, and it's the same thing again. They did the same thing, and it lead us to war. Lead us to war? You're already here.
Yeah.
But now it's all about racist, this and that. It's gonna kill the reporters. Which no, Biden's doing that. Biden had Lyra killed in Ukraine. And again, remember the 2016 election. The biggest first scandal besides the Russia collusion hoax was the Ukraine phone call.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It boggles the mind. Everything they're saying Trump will do, Joe Biden has done. He's already done it, or he is doing it. Destroying of political norms, that's what Joe Biden is doing. He's sending his Justice Department out to indict a former sitting president without just cause. I mean, take us to war. That's what Trump's going to do. No, we've got two different conflicts going right now with the potential for a third over in the South China Sea, or any other, or maybe even in Yemen. Who knows at the rate this is going? It's just remarkable. Now, there were some folks who did some observation just pontificating, and the two pontificators in question about last night's results were pretty sharp guys. You may disagree with their takes on some things, but definitely it's worth taking a look at. This is a tweet from Newt Gingrich. Trump got 74% among Republicans yesterday, while Biden voters gave Nikki Haley a false sense of being competitive. This was her best state, and she lost. The general election begins now. And the other gentleman who I think is definitely worth paying attention to when he says something is Roger Stone. And I don't know that there's a lot of different descriptors I could use for Mr. Stone. The word legend, I think, is probably most appropriate when it comes to political operatives. New Hampshire was by far the most difficult early state for Trump, given the ability of non-Republicans to vote in the primary and the massive resources that were spent encouraging them to do so. He still managed to beat Nikki Haley, who outspent him overwhelmingly by a solid double digits, at the same time scoring the highest vote total ever received in a New Hampshire primary. A win is a win. And he's absolutely right.
Breaking news is happening.
What's going on?
Look at it. James DeWitt to resign in Arizona State Republican Party.
Well, hang on. We'll throw this up on the screen for everybody. Thank God there is justice in the world. Hang on, guys. Yep, there it is. He is out.
Gosh.
I don't know. Well, I got to think about it. Two things. All right. I just thought of two things I've got to do. And one of them is an email to somebody. Vamp for a second, Reuben.
Yeah, this is incredible. And there's also another one that came out right now. I just saw it. Basically, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, has a statement on Texas constitutional right to self-defense. So he's laying down the gauntlet against the federal government and SCOTUS. Because again, you have to remember, we live in the United States of America. United States of America, if you go anywhere, where are you from? Germany. I'm from England. I'm from France. I'm from the UK. I'm from Russia. I'm from whatever. But if you basically say someone from America, where are you from? California, Texas, Illinois. We go by what we always say we're from a certain state. I'm a native Texan myself, so that's important. So this is a strike back at what we're doing here. And again, the federal government has gotten too big, too ornery, and it's been really pushing people. And now it's time for states to stand up. And that's why I say it's like I got to get out of where I am now and find somewhere to go where I can lay my roots and start fresh. Because I'm just done with this state I'm in right now.
Yeah.
State of confusion.
I will be very interested to see who replaces him. And I tell you what, if it were me, and again, this is just me being somewhat strategic. There are two names that come to mind. Well, I should say one of them is a former chairman of Arizona. Her name is escaping me right now, and I said it came to my mind, but it doesn't. It doesn't. I know it's a female, but I cannot think of her name. The other person who, just for curiosity's sake, Blake Masters, who ran for the Senate out in Arizona on the Republican side, got a lot of smarts. He's young. You know, I'd be very interested in seeing him put in as chairman. And the reason I'm doing this is I don't want the same swamp creatures that elected this guy to be putting another chairman in. You know, here's an opportunity to be very strategic. That's just my thoughts off the top of my head. But yeah, this whole Arizona thing makes me think of somebody I got to send a message to, and this is about as good a time as any to do it. So we'll see what happens. But yeah. The times they are changing. That is for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on what's going on right now. There's a lot's coming out right now. I just want to make sure it's
okay. All right. Well, yeah, because when you have that look on your face, I can realize, okay, he's checking something out.
I'm looking.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I can, believe me, I can filibuster with the best of them, man. You just tell me when you're ready to drop some truth on somebody.
No, I'm good. No, I want to see what else was going on, because again, basically everyone now is retweeting that out, going out there. We want to know more information about Arizona, and then of course what's happening in Texas too. So it's on double fronts from the South, because again, the South is where the problems are. Yeah. Again, for the longest time, you had, but again, but the thing is the outside turn is you have these people who, again, some of them are being used as political pawns, of course, by the Democratic Party, and they're shipping these migrants to New York, and then you see like I say, they brought it up. They saw videos where you have, it looks like New York now looks like the New York of the 70s again. It's insane the way that it's coming back, where you have Chinese nationals, people from Mexico and from the South America, who are now women who are now prostituting themselves out, and it's insane. The sex cartels and all that stuff, it's insane. And then, again, that circles back to what DeWitt said. There are cartels in all 50 states. They're bringing in the drugs, because again, there's a movie out there called Old. It was an older movie. It's not older. It's a few years ago, but not M. Night Shyamalan, where they basically, they send these people to this location, and then they give it's accelerated time, and they can do test cancer drugs, and they say they're doing this for the good of people. But again, they want to destroy the family, which they did already, because they basically said, kick your black mothers, kick your boyfriends out, your husbands out, so you can get more money, because if you don't have your husband there or your boyfriend there, then we will give you money. You become a welfare queen, and then you have that going on there. And I know people that are like this, and I didn't even know that they believe this, because they say, I don't need to pay anything. I get free money. And they've been propped up by the feminist movement, because they can basically say, I got the pussy, I got all the power. Men will do anything for me. And I'm going, are you insane? And they got and you see it on X sometimes, on social media, where you have this one guy who has 4 different baby showers with 4 different women, because he had got all 4 pregnant. Which goes back to the movie Idiocracy, where you were waiting till you're waiting so long to have kids, and then idiots were having them, and then it was just insane. It's just, we'll have Camacho as president, and we have all this other crap going on here. It's insane.
Yeah,
I'm just done with it all.
Oh, I know, just absolutely crazy. So ahead of what's going on next, we mentioned Nevada, and I'll pop this up here real fast. and that happens on the 8th of February, if I'm not mistaken. Trump's got a very big lead, at least according to the most recent polling that was done out there. And again, if he's the only person on the caucus, in the caucus ballot, well, by default, he wins. Then you slide it down to South Carolina, and this could be an epic beatdown because the electorate that makes up South Carolina is definitely more evangelical than New Hampshire. And, on average, Trump's leading by like 30 points. So this is going to get real interesting going forward. I really do think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Going to be a whole lot of fun. Yeah. We did, sir. We did. It's one of the first ones we played today. So, yep, absolutely. So, yeah, it's going to be real interesting going forward. Then on top of that, keep in mind, you got a court case coming up before the United States Supreme Court regarding Colorado against Trump on this whole 14th Amendment thing, which I think, now that I think about it, I think that falls on the exact same day as the Nevada caucus. So that's going to be fairly interesting to watch. So, yeah, there's a lot going on in the world right now. And we'll be here talking about it on YouTube, on Rumble, on Twitter, and anywhere else that strikes our fancy. So, yeah, we're having fun doing it. I mean, lots ahead to look forward to. Lots to look forward to. So yeah, anything else out there on the horizon that you're scanning to see?
Nothing yet. I'm just looking stuff. There's stuff going on in Colorado, but I want to get more. I want to look more information about it. Alex Jones is reporting on something going on, but I want to make sure that before I have to check it out first before anything.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's again a lot's going on right now. Again, as we said before, beginning of the year, and we're only 24 days in.
Yeah,
crazy stuff. Yeah.
This is all in Jan. Yeah, it's like that line from Pirates of the Caribbean where, Captain Jack Sparrow does something insanely crazy, and then he's standing there and everybody looks and goes, and that was without a single drop of rum. Well, we're at 24 days into January, and this is all the crazy that's going on right now. So there you go.
Yeah, and basically what I'm doing here now, I'm drinking pure water. Filtered water, basically. So it's like, I'm ready to be sober and ready to get things, quantified of what's about to happen, because it's going to be a wild ride. We just started.
People have no idea how wild a ride this is going to be. So, well, I'll tell you what, folks, you guys have got lives to live and we got news articles to read about. I'm going to try my best to crank out a video this evening for tomorrow morning, because there was one other thing that happened in New Hampshire that most people are overlooking, and it has the potential to affect the outcome of who wins up there. And it has to do with somebody we're not even talking about yet. So check out, like I said, I will try and get this video out today. Check it out for tomorrow morning, because don't know who it's going to affect worse yet, Biden or Trump, but I'll put it this way. This little piece of news broke, and when it did, I went, okay, New Hampshire just got a whole lot more interesting. So, tell you what, Reuben, where can everybody find you on social media?
Find me on
help you out.
Yes, find me on Rumble, find me on YouTube, find me on Instagram at Reuben Haynes. I haven't put much content out. I usually have what I usually do is to do a Friday night shit show with my friends at Jen of the Planet, Orange Hat Reviews, and we talk about politics, everything. And she's really, Janet from Other Planets, usually on X. She's out there. So Friday night, the shit show, I simulcast it on her channel, or from her channel. I'm going to put more content out. I'm going to put more content on my YouTube channel where I have my weight loss videos. I'm on a quest to get down to 200 pounds. I have 100 more pounds to go to get 250. I'll be launching alt-right fitness. I'm going to be doing more things for making sure that men step up, do their part, and then show them that you can overcome. I'm going to be 56 this year in March. March 6th is my birthday. And I don't take any pharmaceuticals. I don't take any drugs or any kind. And for the last 4 years, I haven't had a sniffle. Nothing wrong. I have all my teeth, never had a cavity in my life. Because you have to take care of yourself. The health is in your hands. Don't listen to what anybody else says about what you need to do. Take care of yourself, eat good food, and exercise daily, and have a clear mind. That's what I say. So watch me there. And Rumble, there'll be more political content there, more explosive content, because I want to follow what Alex Jones is saying and start posting things there daily on what needs to get done. Take care. Thank you.
Very good. You can find me on Twitter at the Front Porch C1. You can find me on YouTube, on Rumble, on Twitter. I try to stay all over the place, scanning and looking. And if I find something interesting, I make a video about it, or I do a live stream. I'll be back this Saturday morning with Front Porch Brunch. That's right. The boss is back. And there's going to be a lot to talk about going into the week. Oh, which by the by, I will not be live streaming it, but I did see that Trump is going to be out in Las Vegas this weekend. So I recommend, if you've got the time, if you got stuff going on, cool. But I think he's doing a rally at 1:00 Nevada time. It's 4:00 Eastern. So, Right Side Broadcasting Network, I know they cover his stuff. Check them out. Good afternoon, Hunter. Glad to see you. So, Reuben, hang on. We'll say some proper goodbyes here in just a second. Folks, thanks for stopping by for the recap stream. We're glad to be with you. And in the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, just remember, it's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money. We'll see.